What if your everyday thoughts, those seemingly fleeting ideas that just pop in and out of your head, what if they held the power to literally shape your entire reality? I know it sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? Maybe like some philosophical ideal or just a hopeful sentiment.
Yeah, like wishful thinking.
Exactly. But this isn't just some feel-good notion. It's actually the audacious starting point of one of history's most impactful books on personal success. A concept so bold, it might just rewire how you perceive your own mental power.
It really might.
This is where we take your source material, your articles, your research, maybe just your notes, and we don't just skim the surface. We really dig in, extract those crucial nuggets of insight, and give you a shortcut to being truly well-informed. Often with surprising facts, maybe a little humor to keep you hooked. Today, we're diving into Chapter 1 of Napoleon Hill's really seminal work, Think and Grow Rich. And the chapter itself is boldly titled, Thoughts Are Things.
It is. No mincing words there.
Not at all. It's to unpack exactly what Hill means by this incredibly powerful declaration. We want to explore how it actually manifests in real life, and maybe most importantly, discover some practical, actionable steps you can apply right away to harness this very principle.
And, this deep dive, it isn't just about understanding a concept, although that's definitely part of it. It's really fundamentally about a pretty profound shift in perspective.
Okay.
About how deeply your internal mental landscape influences your external world. We'll be focusing specifically on how Hill moves beyond just metaphor to a truly literal interpretation of this idea. He's offering what he sees as a foundational truth for anyone looking to achieve their goals, no matter how ambitious they might initially seem.
So not just positive thinking.
No, much more than that. What's truly fascinating here is how deeply he wants us to consider the very nature of thought itself. He's inviting us to treat our mental activity as a form of powerful, almost tangible creation.
Okay, let's get into this then, this radical premise. Because Chapter 1 of Think and Grow Rich, it really doesn't ease you in, does it?
Not at all. Jumps right in.
Hill opens with this incredibly bold, direct declaration. It just grabs your attention immediately and challenges how most of us perceive thought. He states right up front, no equivocation. Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that. It's not a suggestion, not a gentle philosophy. It's an absolute assertion. And I think for many of us, that's kind of a jarring statement. We usually think of thoughts as, ephemeral, fleeting.
Smoke.
Exactly, without any real substance. But Hill immediately establishes them as something concrete. Almost like a raw material you can work with.
Precisely. And this is such a critical distinction. It really elevates the concept beyond just, positive thinking or some abstract philosophy. Hill doesn't intend this statement metaphorically.
It really means it.
He means it literally. He's telling us that thoughts possess an actual substance, an energy, a potential, much like raw materials that are just waiting to be transformed. Think of it this way. If thoughts are actual things, then the very act of thinking, of forming an idea in your mind, it isn't just some passive mental exercise. It's an act of creation. You're bringing something into being, even if it's initially intangible. This totally shifts our perception of thought from something abstract to something concrete, from a fleeting impulse to like a foundational building block.
Okay.
And consider the profound implications of this literal view. If thoughts possess substance, well, then they become the blueprints of our reality.
The blueprints. I like that.
Yeah. And Hill powerfully illustrates this. He points out that every building you walk into, every business you interact with, every invention that makes your life easier, basically everything you see around you originated as a thought in someone's mind.
That's true, isn't it?
Absolutely. That skyscraper downtown, it wasn't just poured concrete and steel initially. It was first a thought, a design, a vision that existed purely in the mind.
Right. Someone had to imagine it first.
Exactly. The smartphone you might be holding right now, the car you drive, even, the political system that governs a nation, all of it began as an idea, a concept, which then manifested into physical reality through deliberate action. So this makes the abstract concept of thoughts being things incredibly relatable, almost undeniable when you look at the evidence all around us.
Yeah, it forces you to reconsider the power going on just inside your head.
The profound creative power inherent in our mental processes, yes.
That's a powerful way to frame it. It's not some, airy-fairy idea. It's the very origin of everything tangible we experience. But, Okay, here's a question then. If every thought is a thing, does that mean every fleeting idea, like, oh, I should really clean my garage, carries the same weight as a grand vision for, I don't know, inventing some new technology or starting a global business?
Right. It's a great question.
How do we differentiate between just random mental chatter and those truly powerful things Hill talks about? Can't just be any thought that manifests like that, can it?
No, you're absolutely right. There must be some essential ingredients at play.
Okay.
And Hill says there are. Not just any thought manifests into a tangible reality. He identifies specific, vital ingredients that transform what might just be a weak signal into a powerful, reality-shaping force. Ingredients that ensure your mental energy is actually directed towards creation, not just, fleeting impulses.
Okay, so what are they?
Well, first there's clarity. The thought has to be well-defined, not vague.
Okay.
You can't effectively manifest just, something good or more money. It needs to be precise, like, I will achieve X specific goal by Y date through Z means.
Right, very specific.
Without that precision, your mind lacks a clear target. Your efforts just become diffuse, scattered.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, there must be unwavering belief. Belief in the thought's potential and, crucially, in your capacity to realize it.
Okay. So you have to believe you can do it too.
Absolutely. If you secretly doubt it, if there's that persistent inner voice going, nah, that's not possible, you dilute its power. And this isn't just wishful thinking. It's a deep-seated conviction that it is possible.
Got it. Clarity, belief. What's third?
Third, the thought needs a clear purpose, a profound why behind it.
The why?
Yes. What's its objective? What problem does it solve? What need does it fulfill? Or, what contribution does it make? This purpose provides direction and meaning. It's what sustains you when you hit challenges.
Okay, that makes sense. Purpose gives it staying power.
Exactly. But above all, and this is where it gets really interesting, this is the engine of manifestation, is desire.
Desire with a capital D, you said?
Yes. Hill presents this as the supreme driving force. It's the emotional charge that electrifies the thought and propels it from the realm of the abstract into the concrete.
So it's the feeling behind the thought.
Precisely. And desire, in this context, it isn't just a casual wish or a mild preference. It's a profound, intense longing. Hill calls it a burning obsession.
A burning obsession. Wow.
Yeah. It's an emotional energy that fuses with a thought. This emotional charge is what transforms a passive thought into an active pursuit. It's the fuel that moves the thing from the mind into the material world.
So without that fire?
Without that burning desire, the thought just remains dormant. It's like a seed you never planted. It's the difference between merely having an idea and having an idea that you are compelled, almost religiously, to bring to fruition.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this goes way beyond just positive thinking.
Right. And while this might still sound a little bit abstract, maybe a bit theoretical.
Yeah, a little.
Hill gives us an incredible, concrete, real-world example to drive this point home. An example that proves just how literal thoughts or things can actually be.
And that example, the ultimate sort of proof in the pudding, as they say, is the really remarkable story of Edwin C. Barnes.
Edwin C. Barnes.
He's the ultimate case study from chapter 1. And what makes his eventual success so compelling, and I think so relatable for us listening, is his initial circumstances. I mean, he wasn't born into wealth, he didn't have any special education or a fancy degree, and he certainly had no influence, no connections in the circles he aspired to enter. Just an ordinary person, really.
An ordinary person with an extraordinary thought.
Yes.
Indeed. What set Barnes apart was that singular, powerful idea, what Hill specifically calls a burning obsession.
Okay.
And his idea wasn't just, I want to work for Thomas Edison, which frankly would have been a huge ambition for someone in his position anyway.
Sure, yeah. Edison was a giant.
Exactly. No, Barnes's thought was much more specific, much more audacious, and profoundly clear. I will work with Thomas Edison, not for him as a business partner.
Wow. With him, not for him. That's a huge distinction.
It's absolutely crucial. It highlights the intensity, the precision, and the unwavering nature of his desire. It wasn't a casual wish for just any job, any employment. It was a deep, unwavering commitment to a specific high-level aspiration. He conceived of himself not as a subordinate, not as an employee,
but as an equal, a collaborator.
Yes. That precise phrasing, with, not for, demonstrates the clarity, the belief, and the definite purpose that Hill identified as essential ingredients for a thought to become a tangible thing. He saw himself as a partner, even before he'd ever met Edison, even before he had any means to reach him. That picture was already fixed in his mind.
And his journey to Edison just underscored the sheer power of that burning obsession, right?
It really does.
He didn't have the money for a comfortable train ticket, didn't stop him.
Nope.
He traveled anyway, choosing a freight train instead of letting that lack of funds be a barrier. Can you imagine?
I mean, the discomfort, the uncertainty, the sheer physical and mental grind of that journey, it's incredible.
And then he literally walked directly into Edison's office in Orange, New Jersey. And despite his, humble appearance, his obvious lack of credentials, he just stated his audacious goal directly.
Right there, to Edison's face.
He didn't ask for a job. He presented his intention to become a partner. It's almost unbelievable when you think about it.
It is. And that's precisely why Hill uses it as such a prime example. So, okay, how did Edison react? You've got this determined but clearly unpolished young man standing in front of him. Did Edison immediately hire Barnes as a partner, recognizing his sheer audacity and conviction?
You'd think maybe, right? But no.
Of course not. That's not how it usually works. Barnes started at the very bottom. A routine, menial job, no promise of promotion, no special treatment.
So he got into the office, but not in the way he envisioned.
Exactly. He was placed in the office, but his duties were initially really insignificant, probably miles away from what he pictured for a partner. And this was the true test of his thought as a thing.
Yeah, this is where most people would probably quit.
Absolutely. What's fascinating here is to consider why Barnes didn't give up at this point. Most people, facing such a clear rejection of their grand vision, being relegated to mundane tasks, they'd have become discouraged, disillusioned, and just walked away.
Makes sense.
But Barnes, he connected back to his core vision, to that burning thought. His refusal to let go of that central objective was just ironclad.
So the mental picture held firm.
It was so strong, so clear, so charged with that desire that the initial discouraging reality starting at the bottom simply couldn't extinguish it. He actively chose to see this menial position not as a failure,
right,
but as a necessary stepping stone, an opportunity just to be physically present in Edison's world, in his orbit.
A foot in the door, basically.
Yeah. And he worked with, as Hill says, focus and persistence, knowing deep down that this was just a temporary phase, a necessary means to an end on the path to his ultimate goal. This demonstrates the immense power of sustained belief and purpose, even when reality looks completely different at first.
Yeah.
His thought, his think, was so robust, so clearly formed, and so intensely desired that it could withstand the test of time, the mundane tasks, and the immediate adverse circumstances. He wasn't just waiting for an opportunity to fall into his lap.
No, he was positioning himself.
He was positioning himself for it through sheer mental and physical fortitude. His mind was constantly looking for the opening.
And the narrative then takes this really fascinating turn, doesn't it, years later?
Years, yeah. Not days or weeks. Years.
Edison invented a new office device, a dictating machine called the Ediphone. But, ironically, apparently, no one on his highly talented team seemed able to sell it effectively.
Right. It was a revolutionary product, a real breakthrough for its time, but it just wasn't translating into sales. It was sitting there, a technological marvel with no market traction.
And this was the moment, this was where Barnes's unwavering thought finally found its pathway, right? Its specific opening to manifest.
This is where Barnes's decisive action, fueled by that long-held thing, truly shines. He wasn't just physically present. His mind was primed because he held that thought for so long.
Okay.
He didn't just see a problem like maybe the other salespeople did. He saw the opportunity, the specific opening that aligned perfectly with his burning obsession to work with Edison.
So he recognized it when others didn't.
Exactly. Yeah. He approached Edison not with a tentative request, but with a statement of certainty. I can sell that machine. He passionately took the job of selling this invention, stepping up where others had failed, and crucially, he succeeded where others could not.
Amazing.
And this success, Hill emphasizes, it wasn't accidental. It wasn't just luck or good timing. It was the direct manifestation of his sustained, specific thought, charged with that intense desire.
Ah, okay.
His ability to see and then seize this opportunity stemmed directly from his unwavering mental objective. Because his thought of being Edison's partner was always active, always looking for its path to manifestation, his mind was attuned to recognize this very specific chance.
Like a radio tuned to a specific frequency.
It's a great analogy. He didn't just stumble into it. His focused intention made him perceive it as an opportunity and then act decisively on it when others simply saw a problem or maybe just another product. His internal blueprint was ready to build the moment the right materials appeared.
and the ultimate outcome. It's really dramatic, isn't it? It's the perfect testament to the power of that single, unwavering thought.
It really is.
That one sale, or rather his success in selling the machine, it didn't just prove the invention's worth. It made Barnes a full-fledged partner of Edison.
Just like he dreamed.
Just like he had dreamed all those years ago, stepping off that freight train, he became the sole distributor of the Ediphone, apparently generating millions in sales. His thought had literally, undeniably become his reality.
It's such concrete evidence for Hill's bold claim that thoughts are things. Barnes wasn't handed this success. He didn't inherit it. He didn't get lucky in the traditional sense. He created it.
How?
By holding an unwavering mental picture, charging it with that profound desire, and persistently working towards it despite the initial setbacks, despite years of what probably felt like unrewarding labor.
Yeah, that persistence piece is huge.
It is. And what stands out to me here is that his thought wasn't just a static image in his head. It was a dynamic, active force. It guided his actions. It shaped his perception of opportunities, like seeing the chance with the Ediphone. And it fueled his incredible resilience.
So the thought was doing work, even when he was doing menial tasks.
Exactly. It wasn't just a mental exercise. It was the blueprint for his entire life's trajectory. It demonstrates the tangible power of a truly focused and energized mindset. It's a powerful, powerful illustration of the principle in action.
So, okay, Hill then distills this incredible story, this proof, into what he calls a vital lesson, a kind of universal law, if you will. He says, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
There it is.
It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Almost like a cliche you'd see on an inspirational poster or something you might hear in a quick motivational speech.
It does sound simple on the surface.
But what's the critical catch here? Because if it were really that easy, if merely conceiving something and sort of believing it were enough, well, then everyone would be achieving everything they conceive. And clearly, that's not happening in the real world.
That raises an absolutely important question. Because you're right, it's not enough to just wish for something. And this is precisely where so many people stumble. They hear that phrase and think it's easier than it is.
So what's missing?
The critical catch is that the conceive and believe part is far more rigorous, demanding, and all-encompassing than most people assume. It's not a passive act at all.
Okay.
To truly achieve what you conceive, Hill argues, you absolutely must have that deep desire, that all-consuming emotional drive that borders on an obsession, feels like Barnes had. This isn't a fleeting preference, it's an emotional urgency that compels you forward relentlessly.
Burning obsession again.
Exactly. You also need complete belief and not just intellectual acknowledgement like, oh yeah, that sounds possible. No, it has to be an unwavering, unshakable conviction in your ability and the absolute feasibility of your goal, even, and maybe especially, when current circumstances seem to contradict it.
So belief even when things look bad.
Yes. Belief that permeates your conscious and your subconscious mind. And crucially, this must be coupled with a willingness to take action. It's not about magic or just sitting on the couch wishing things into existence.
Right. Barnes didn't just sit and think.
Not at all. It's about consistent, deliberate effort. This means a commitment to hard work and an ironclad persistence through challenges, through setbacks, through those long, discouraging periods where progress seems invisible. Most people just give up too soon. They mistake initial difficulty for impossibility.
So desire, belief, action, persistence, that's a lot more involved than just conceive and believe.
It is. And if we think about what happens when these elements are missing, we see a clear contrast. Vague wishes just dissipate, don't they?
Yeah, they fade away.
They're like dandelion seeds scattered on a windy day. They lack direction. They lack the rooting, the nurturing required for growth. They don't generate the necessary internal alignment or the external effort. If you merely hope for something, that hope doesn't translate into the dedicated energy needed to overcome obstacles, or even to see opportunities when they arise.
It's like saying, I wish I were physically fit, but never actually going to the gym or changing your diet.
Exactly. The thought isn't charged. It lacks the necessary fuel, the necessary direction to manifest. It just remains a fleeting mental impulse rather than becoming a blueprint for reality.
That makes so much sense, and I think this is where people often confuse the two, isn't it? They'll say things like, oh, I wish I was rich, or I really hope I become successful someday. But that's not what Hill's talking about at all, is it?
Not even close.
It sounds like there's a profound, almost spiritual difference, maybe, between just wishing and truly thinking with purpose. How do we distinguish between that weak, passive wish and a powerful, charged thought?
There is a monumental difference, a difference that often defines success or failure. Hill meticulously explains that unless a thought is charged with energy, emotion, and belief, it's just, well, he calls it a weak signal lost in the noise.
A weak signal lost in the noise. I like that.
Think of it like a radio signal, right? A weak signal just gets drowned out by static, lost amidst countless other fleeting thoughts and daily distractions. But a strong, clear signal, it cuts right through the interference. It becomes undeniable.
Okay.
Barnes didn't just wish to be Edison's partner. He decided.
Decided. That's a strong word.
It implies an irrevocable commitment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A firm resolution that eliminates all other alternatives. He wasn't hoping. He was, in a sense, dictating his future. His thought was infused with such intense desire that it became a potent directive force within him.
He was willing to do whatever it took.
Exactly. Which meant taking that menial job, enduring years of waiting, seizing an unproven opportunity that others shied away from. His thought wasn't a passive wish. It was an active, emotional, and persistent command to his subconscious mind and, you could argue, to the universe, demanding a specific outcome.
Wow.
This really highlights that intention alone isn't enough. It's the quality and the intensity of that intention that truly matters. A thought charged with emotion and belief becomes magnetic. It tunes your subconscious mind to filter for and recognize opportunities that align with your goal. Just like Barnes's mind was primed to see the Ediphone opportunity.
Right.
It compels you to take the necessary actions, even when they're difficult or inconvenient or scary. A mere wish is like a gentle breeze. It barely stirs anything. A truly purposed thought, fueled by that burning desire. It's like a hurricane. It has the power to reshape the landscape of your life.
That's a powerful image.
It's the difference between merely observing a potential path and actively blazing one.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me and I think for you listening, because now we get to the practical side. It's one thing to understand the theory, right? To appreciate Barnes's incredible story. But how can you, our listener, apply these powerful ideas in your own life, starting today? How do we actually put thoughts or things into concrete, measurable action? This is where the rubber meets the road, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is the crucial part. The principles we've discussed, they aren't just interesting intellectual concepts. They are a blueprint for deliberate creation. And the first, arguably the most crucial step, is to define exactly what you want.
Clarity again.
Yes, clarity is paramount. And this goes beyond just a vague aspiration. You need to be incredibly specific, crystal clear, painting a detailed mental picture. Why? Because a vague goal yields vague results, or often no results at all. Your mind simply doesn't have a precise target to aim for.
So not just, I want more money.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Instead, you define it as something like, I will earn an additional $5,000 per month by December 31st of this year, and I'll do it by launching this specific new online service. See the difference?
Yeah, much clearer, much more real.
That level of specificity is vital for a thought to become a thing. Without it, your mind doesn't have a clear target. It's like trying to navigate without a map. You might wander around, but you won't reach a specific destination efficiently, if at all.
Right.
A clear goal allows your subconscious mind to align, to start identifying relevant opportunities, and to filter out all the distractions. A common pitfall here. People are often afraid to pick a specific number or outcome, or they simply don't take the time to truly visualize what the achievement of that goal would look like in every detail. Don't be afraid to dream big, but be utterly specific in the details of that dream.
Okay, step one, define it with crystal clarity. And once you have that definition, what's next?
Then step two is to write it down as a clear, specific goal.
Write it down. Why is that so important?
There's immense power, almost something, mystical maybe, in externalizing the thought. When it's just bouncing around in your head, it can feel ethereal, right? Easy to shift, easy to forget, easily prone to being overshadowed by all the daily distractions.
Yeah, thoughts can be slippery.
Exactly. But putting it down on paper, seeing it there in black and white, makes it undeniably more concrete, more real. It moves it from the ephemeral realm of pure thought to something tangible that you can look at, touch, and revisit constantly.
It's like taking the first physical step.
Precisely. It's like taking the very first foundational step in construction, drawing up the blueprint and making it visible. Whether it's in a journal, maybe on a sticky note by your bed, or even as part of a vision board, the physical act of writing it down anchors the thought in your reality.
Okay, so write it down. Makes sense. What's step three?
Step three, building on that, is to read it aloud to yourself every morning and night.
Read it aloud. Why aloud?
This isn't just some empty ritual. It's actually a powerful psychological technique. It's rooted in the way our brains process information and form beliefs. The act of repetition and affirmation, literally speaking your goal into existence. It reinforces the thought at a deeper subconscious level. It actually creates new neural pathways and strengthens existing ones, embedding the thought deeper and deeper into your mental landscape.
So you're programming your subconscious, basically.
Yes, exactly what you're doing. This consistent reinforcement charges the thought with continuous energy, keeping it at the forefront of your awareness and strengthening its magnetic pull. When you speak it aloud, you engage your auditory sense, your vocal cords, your conscious mind, all working together to imprint it on your subconscious.
So it's not just reading it silently.
No. Speaking, it adds another layer of engagement. It's not just rote memorization. It's about feeling the words as you say them, believing them, and imprinting them as undeniable truths onto your psyche. This is how you start to cultivate that success consciousness Hill talks about.
Okay, clarity. Write it down. Read it aloud daily. What's step 4?
Then step 4. Visualize yourself already living that dream.
Visualization. This is a big one in personal development circles.
It is, and for good reason. This is where imagination comes into play. And Hill emphasizes imagination as a critical faculty, just as powerful in its own way as physical action. Visualization creates a vivid mental blueprint, a detailed simulation of your desired reality.
Like a mental movie.
Exactly. When you vividly imagine yourself experiencing this success, feeling the emotions that go with it, the joy, the release, the satisfaction, and truly living the life you desire, you activate the brain's creative faculties in a really profound way.
How does that help?
This process begins to align your internal state with your desired external reality. It makes your mind a powerful magnet for the opportunities, the resources, the people that actually match your vision. It's like doing a dress rehearsal for your future. Allowing your brain to literally practice what it feels like to achieve that goal. It makes it feel familiar, attainable, almost inevitable. Don't just see it in your mind's eye. Feel it, smell it, hear it. Engage all your senses in the visualization. Make it as real as possible.
Feel the success before it happens.
Precisely.
Okay, define it, write it, read it, visualize it. What's the final step? Feels like something's missing.
You're right. The 5th step is absolutely crucial. It's often the missing link for so many people. It's to back it all up with daily actions, no matter how small.
Action, of course. It can't just be thinking and feeling.
Exactly. This is the bridge. This is where the mental realm connects to the physical manifestation. This is where your thoughts truly begin to become things in the outside world. Without action, even the most deeply desired, clearly visualized, and repeatedly affirmed thought just remains dormant. It stays a wish.
So it's not enough to think, you have to do.
You must do. And even tiny, consistent steps are essential. Don't feel like you have to make huge leaps every day.
Small steps count.
Absolutely. If your goal is to write a book, maybe it's just writing 500 words a day, even when you don't feel inspired. If it's to start a business, maybe it's sending one exploratory email today, or researching one competitor, or taking a short online course related to it.
Or for physical health, maybe just a 15-minute walk.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
These actions, however insignificant they might seem individually, are the physical movements that propel your thing from the realm of thought into the material world. They build momentum, they create feedback loops, they demonstrate to your own subconscious mind that you are serious about this goal.
It proves your commitment to yourself.
Yes. It's like the daily chiseling that transforms the raw mental material, the idea, into the desired sculpture, the reality. Without consistent action, even a burning desire can eventually just burn out, fizzle away.
So when you bring all these steps together, define, write, read, visualize, act, it really paints a complete picture. It reminds me so much of Hill's own analogy, which I think beautifully reinforces this entire process.
Yeah, good point of that.
He says, your thoughts are seeds, but only the ones you nurture with desire and discipline will grow into results.
Yes. That's perfect.
It's not enough just to have the seed, the idea. You have to plant it, write it down, water it, read it, visualize it, give it sunlight, desire, belief, protect it from weeds, doubt, inaction, and patiently tend to it every single day. Daily action.
That's the daily action and discipline required for growth. Beautifully put.
It really ties it all together, doesn't it?
It does. And, to solidify this concept even further, Hill offers several core laws of success directly within this first chapter. And these aren't just, nice motivational quotes to make you feel good for a moment or some fleeting inspirations.
Yeah.
No, as Hill states them, they are practical laws of success. They govern the manifestation process, almost like laws of physics govern the physical world. They describe how reality, or maybe opportunity, responds to your focused mental energy.
Okay, practical laws. Let's unpack some of that wisdom then. The first powerful line you mentioned is, success comes to those who become success conscious. What exactly does it mean to be success conscious? How do you cultivate that?
Yeah, success conscious. It implies far more than just wanting success on a surface level. It means developing a specific mindset, a pervasive way of thinking, where success is your default mental state, where achieving your goals feels not just possible, but almost inevitable.
Like it's already yours.
In a sense, yes. It's a constant, unwavering focus on the desired outcome. An internal alignment where your thoughts, your beliefs, even your subconscious expectations are consistently geared towards achievement. Think of it like installing a mental filter that constantly seeks out opportunities, resources, and insights that move you closer to your goal, while simultaneously filtering out distractions, doubts, and negative influences. It's about not just wishing for success, but expecting it. Immersing yourself in the idea of it until it becomes an integral part of your identity.
So you live and breathe it.
You live it, you breathe it, you see the world through the lens of your defined success. And this makes you highly attuned to those opportunities that others who aren't success conscious might simply overlook. You proactively seek out situations and solutions that align with your desired outcome. You're not waiting for success, you're embodying it.
That's a powerful state to be in. Okay, and then there's that other fantastic line you brought up. Set your mind on a definite goal and observe how quickly the world stands aside to let you pass. I love the imagery there, the world literally standing aside. What's actually happening? Is it magic? Or is there a more practical explanation?
It does sound a bit magical, doesn't it? But it's not magic in the, hocus pocus sense. Its practical impact, though, is deeply profound. This speaks to the incredible power of having a clearly defined, powerful intent. When your goal is definite and unwavering, when you're truly success conscious, it's as if you send out this clear, undeniable signal, both to your own mind and, in turn, out to your environment. The world standing aside isn't necessarily about physical obstacles vanishing instantly, but it describes how opportunities, resources, people, circumstances, they just seem to align naturally to support your clearly defined objective. Your focused energy creates a path forward.
So distractions fall away.
Distractions or competing demands seem to recede because your internal compass, your focus, is so strong. You become hyper-aware of relevant information. You start to instinctively make decisions that move you forward. You even seem to attract people who can assist you.
Attracts maybe?
In a way. Think of it like a laser beam versus a diffused flashlight. A laser beam cuts right through. A flashlight just illuminates broadly. When your mind is laser focused on a definite goal, the environment tends to respond to that intense, directed energy. You're not just waiting for opportunities anymore. You're mentally prepared to perceive them and act on them the moment they appear, which gives the impression that the world is clearing the way for you.
Because you're clearing where you're going.
Precisely. Your clarity directs your perception and action.
Okay. And the third law you mentioned brings us right back full circle to the engine of it all. The starting point of all achievement is desire. It really feels like the absolute bedrock for everything else we've talked about.
It truly is. It's the prime mover. This quote just reiterates desire as the fundamental initiating force behind all success. Without it, all the other steps, the clarity, the belief, the action, the persistence, they lack the necessary emotional charge. They lack the motivation.
The fuel.
Desire is the spark that ignites the thought. It's the emotional fuel that drives the entire journey, from conception all the way to achievement. It's that deep emotional commitment that compels you to overcome the challenges, to persevere through the inevitable setbacks, and to just stay the course when things get tough, which they always do.
Right.
Without that deep, burning desire, any goal just remains a fleeting idea, an uncharged thing with no real power to manifest. It's the difference between a casual interest and an unwavering, all-consuming commitment. If you can cultivate that burning desire, then the rest of Hill's principles provide the structure and the guidance for its manifestation.
And if we connect these three quotes, success consciousness, definite goal, desire as the starting point, back to the barn story, and back to those actionable steps we just discussed, you can clearly see how they all weave together, can't you? They form a coherent powerful philosophy of achievement.
Absolutely. Barnes was success conscious. He absolutely had a definite goal partner, not employee. And it was his burning desire that initiated and sustained his entire incredible journey. It all fits.
So, wrapping up this part of our deep dive, it really has underscored this central, incredibly powerful idea that thoughts are things. It's not just some feel-good theory, is it? It's presented by Hill as a fundamental principle of creation, backed by compelling evidence like the incredible story of Edwin C. Barnes. It's really about recognizing the literal, tangible power residing right within your own mind, just waiting to be properly directed and unleashed.
Exactly. And, that naturally leads us to a fascinating and maybe slightly provocative question that the source material itself leaves us with. It points directly to the next level of understanding this.
Okay.
If thoughts truly have the power to create success, then why doesn't everyone become rich?
Ah, yes, the big question. The elephant in the room, maybe.
It's the obvious, almost frustrating question, isn't it? If the formula is supposedly so clear, conceive, believe, desire, act, persist, why aren't all of us living our wildest dreams? Why do so many people struggle, despite maybe knowing these ideas?
That is the big question indeed. And Napoleon Hill hints, doesn't he, that the answer doesn't lie primarily in a lack of opportunity or some external factors.
No, he points inward again.
Right. He suggests the answer lies in the very next chapter of Think and Grow Rich, where he dives deeper into the hidden power of desire and, crucially, how to transform those common vague wishes into burning obsessions.
It's about how to generate that fuel.
Exactly. It's about turning passive hope into active driving force. Understanding the specific mechanisms that elevate a simple thought into a powerful, manifestable thing. So we definitely encourage you to continue your journey of deep understanding and maybe explore that next layer with us or on your own.
Absolutely. And just as a final thought to leave you with, we invite you to reflect on your own thought patterns right now. As you listen to this, think about your own goals. Are your thoughts about them vague wishes, or are they definite, specific intentions?
Good question to ask yourself.
What level of genuine desire, that burning desire, do you truly bring to your most important goals? Just consider the transformative potential that lies within your own mind, waiting to be unleashed. Perhaps simply by shifting the quality and the intensity of your thoughts, the power to create your reality, to turn your thoughts into things. Hill argues it's truly within you.
If this audiobook inspired you, imagine what the next one will do. Subscribe now and turn your time into transformation, one audiobook at a time. Hit the bell so you never miss the words that could change your world.